also because you're on a mountain bike on your trainer.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yes. No. But in any case, even more so for you, what I said about the big sprockets, because remember, you've got a massive gear, so you can generate a lot of torque there.
Yeah.
So it's actually perfectly reasonable for you to have it on 50%. And I know that means people will moan, oh, but on the hills you got an advantage. But that's nonsense, because you'd actually have an advantage in 100%. Because with a 50 at the back, if you've got a 50, you generate so much torque that there's no way your poor trainer can resist you.
I'm actually interested. I haven't found the stats on the Newton meter torque that the Sweeto can take. I've looked around a bit, but I haven't found the stat.
I mean, I'd say it would probably be around the same as the Flux. No, and it's not that the Flux is a bad trainer. It's just know what it can do and what it can't do. You know, like going to land up and this is what my problem is. When I tell people I think your trainer's not reading accurately, I know my shit. I've had a power meter and I'm going through all the brands. And I know Wahoo, I know Saris, I know Tax, I've ridden on Directos. The only thing I haven't tested Neo, because that's the only trainer that's completely different, because it actually doesn't have a flywheel. They've put in so many magnets that they simulate a flywheel with only magnets.
Brilliant. Okay. What's the time, buddy?
Okay, where are we now? 19.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
No, sorry, I changed earphones. My other ones battery was going flat. Okay, so we had 3 minutes, 25 seconds.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. How's it?
Market, close the window. Internet Explorer.
Buddy?
Yes.
If I press go, then I must stop pedal, otherwise my avatar is going to move forward.
No, are you in the pairing screen?
I'm in the pairing screen, but if I press let's go, then
Yes, as soon as you leave the pairing screen by pressing let's go, you must stop pedal. You mustn't be pedaling until our timer reaches 0.
Okay. I just got a fright now.
What, did you have a problem?
No, I saw someone leave and I'm like,
Okay, so it's 1 minute 30 seconds. One minute 20. $47 seconds.
Should we go out of the screen now and then wait?
Yeah, so anybody who wants to leave the pairing screen can do that, but no pairing for the next 30 seconds. Wait 15 seconds.
It's Whitestone Cycles.
That's
Paul
right.
Shop.
Oh,
So I am there in the shoot because that's the only way I can follow you. Go, 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 go.
Let's go.
start.
Go.
Yeah. And front goes off.
Hey, Chris is the last note. Johan is with him. Okay, so Chris and Johan, you can accelerate. The rest of you don't have to slow down so much. Chris is a big guy. Johan might also be a big guy. How much do you weigh, Johan? How much? 84.
Like me.
Okay, no problem. Well, there you go. Big enough. So you'll catch up.
Oh, that is a strap for you for having your identity name. That's a penalty.
Okay, a bit slower at front, a bit slower at the front.
Okay.
A little bit slower. Johan, you all right?
Okay, Chris, you're picking him up.
So you guys are, I mean, basically you got 2 meters left. Okay, you can go. Everybody can go. This mice has got a bit between his teeth. And he's loving the taste. Just a little bit slower. Yeah. Okay, wait a bit there.
Down back.
Okay. Right. Keep it going. I can see all 8 of you now. Johan, what's your max heart rate? If you're close to it, you can just sort of say last wheel. Whoever is close to see their job as as being good wheel suckers tonight. That's not bad. That's great.
Yeah, see.
And whoever feels like they want to do some work for other people, tonight is your chance at the front. Always on these slight inclines, be a little bit careful. But obviously it's more the steeper climbs like the leg snapper where you must be ultra careful at the front. In fact, I'd almost say it's so steep on the leg snapper that you're offering no drop. Just let the guys who are suffering the most ride at the front on the leg snapper because then you know you're not dropping anybody.
But almost easy on the hills, hard on the flats.
Yes, because as much as you lose a lot of time on the climbs, you lose time on your own. What I mean is, on the climb, you are helping nobody by riding hard.
Yeah, 100%.
But on the flats, at least if you're riding hard on the front, everybody who is able to wheel suck you is getting 20-30% discount. That's why you ride hard on the
You guys try and keep an eye out for each other's watch kilogram on the right. Try to get a baseline going.
Try and make it logistics side. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
It's very soft, but I can just.
Earphones are not working. Just be careful now, leg snapper. Remember, you're doing 3 laps, so rather let the first lap on the leg snapper be the easiest. Because if you make it the hardest, then you're going to drop people on the flats long before the last lap.
Okay, I can hear some heavy breathing through my earphones again. That's good. Okay, just watch out. Okay, Paul and okay, so everybody at the back now is just there because you're watching, eh? Good. Okay, good. So I've got it that Chris Koetter is last wheel. So he's sort of making sure that everybody gets over the top in front of him. Anybody that feels like they suffer but they recover easily, in other words, you get 2 types of people. You get people that like threshold, and then you get people who like to go above threshold and then come below threshold, sort of like a person who likes to attack and recover, attack and recover. If you're that type of person, then you go hard on the leg snapper, because then you just go and wheel suck again over the top. Okay,
Chris.
so Chris is at the back. It's a good thing that he was there to like sort of make sure everybody got over so he could come fast, but that gap is so big that it could be that he struggles to get on. Are you okay, Chris?
He's quiet.
Okay, I forgot to say on the next lap, because it's a race, this insider had a whole article on how the aero trucks is faster in races than in normal free riding on Zwift.
Sure.
So on the next descent, you're welcome to all go into the aero cut, and maybe only the guy on the front, if they're really fresh, can push hard. Okay, just tap off a little bit for Chris.
Tap, tap, tap.
Okay, go. Okay, go, Chris. I see, Chris Koetter, I see because you're using a power meter, it obviously takes a second longer after you stop aero cutting than it would with an indoor trainer. So I would just say you would have to like a little bit earlier before the end of a descent start pedaling, but that's nice because your avatar will stay in the aero cut for longer than somebody on indoor trainer because the power meter. Okay, guys, you have to wait a bit. Just tap off on the front.
Start. What's the kilo?
I know, but when you're in a bunch, you drop somebody who's pushing out 5 watts a kilo quite easily. And Chris Koetter is one of your engines. Like a Boeing that just dropped the engine and said, no, we're fine, we've still got wings. Okay, go guys, you're fine. Willem?
No, I'm cool. I just like sort of gave him a little bit of a breather there.
No, I know, I'm just, you know how it is, when you get to the back and they come fast.
Yeah,
just,
I know. I've been dropped a lot of times like that.
Yeah, I assumed you were there to like sort of make the gap to Chris a bit shorter for him.
Quicker. Ja, op de man uit, jy weet.
Because I'm not there, anybody that is riding and has enough breath who thinks that, you know, like they can give some guidance, it's always better for a person riding, you know, like I can give advice and it might be wrong. So, but the advantage of me talking is that I don't have to do any pedaling. So any of you that might want to give advice might prefer not to because they're trying to use their breath for pedaling. So as long as I'm saying something that you all agree with, that actually helps. But if I start saying stuff that is frustrating somebody a lot, then rather speak up. Okay, I mean, get to the team, but remember we're lucky that because we entered the B batch, it's not a pay batch. So the teams are either in a lower or a higher category than us. So they're either going to blow to us or we're going to blow to them, except if it's a frappe team, obviously, one of the 2 or 3 others. So passing teams should be easier than if we enter the frappe batch, where it can actually be a big headache trying to get 2 teams who are going 0.1 watts fast or slower than us. I think we've already gone to 2 or 3 teams.
Yeah, I've been counting it.
So that's great because you can burn a lot of matches in D batch, the frappe batch, when you're trying to pass teams, and you can easily burn some of your teammates. Okay, looking good.
I should have raced in this yesterday. With a disc.
I know you the least well, so I have no idea of how close you are to your limit. You're still good there.
I think one of the nice ways you can diamond class average
Yeah, so just remember that's the high heart rate that you've got there, but if your max is 200, then it's not. So as long as you feel comfortable, but I see like you could sit a bit further back in the pack and try riding at low, slightly lower watts if you were feeling like this is like crazy hard.
Stand on the bench, day of the week. They clap this work Friday and the close up for Monday.
Broncos on happy poles, it looks like. Your endorphins are high. So, I mean, use, okay, 1.5, like just over 1.5 laps left. Use as much as today to like experiment when you get to the back of trying to pedal as slow or as little as possible without losing the wheel. Because once we get to the harder weeks in a few weeks' time, that's how you're going to survive if you're not the strongest. By riding at the maximum less watt than the guy in front. And if you're one of the strongest riders, when it gets very tough in a few weeks' time, when we really try to get the best placing in in the results, then you're going to go super hard at the front, and then you're going to need to recover at the back. So whether you're a strong rider or a rider that's suffering more, you need to practice being on the back of a team going nearly 50 km an hour, and it must feel like an easy ride when you're at the back. So try and practice with that today when you get to the back. Sort of like try and be the world's best wheel sucker, laziest cyclist without getting dropped. Always be careful, whoever's on the front on this route, on this little railway bridge is one of the places where in races people always go hard on the front to break it up. So this isn't the place to go too hard. I know it's only 1 or 2%, but I think the one problem is maybe people at the back are a little bit asleep when you go over this little railway bridge. You're gonna be at the leg snapper. So the thing is now, it's probably not a great idea to go super hard here, because whoever is going to suffer up the leg snapper needs to not get it like loaded. But as soon as you're over the leg snapper, you must be in a nice small ball on the top, and then people with energy can go to the front and pedal while the people behind that person tries aero cut. And then all the way around through to the start finish is basically downhill and flat.
So running the last climb, everyone was sitting at 4 watts per kilo and I just couldn't manage to hold on. So try and set it below.
Sorry, is that Chris now?
Chris can see it, yeah.
Yes. Okay. No, sorry. I must say that I maybe thought that you were more like acting like a sweeper. So I didn't slow anybody down, but that's fine. We'll make sure that there's no gap between. And I mean, I think you would have been fine if you. Yes, you were sweeping and solid. Okay. Yes, okay. So guys, just be careful at the top of the leg snapper. I will let you know if you are together or not. If you're not together, 10 meters before, and I say Not allowed to talk about draft with the alcohol ban. Guys, I hope you guys do have some cold ones left from your free band stock to drink afterwards.
Two
Okay,
beers.
guys, just be careful. Okay, just be careful, yeah. Remember, not to pull it out too much, but you're all together at the moment. Okay, there's a gap between the front four and the back four. Front four, just tap off a little bit. Yeah, because remember, there's not much draft here, so there's no point at the front riding hard.
You know what the thing is? I'm just scared I'm going to get dropped.
Yes, no, I get that, but this team is a bit weaker than the HZTT team, which landed up entering espresso every week, the last 4 weeks. So we're in top pace, so we don't have to try and ride espresso. Yeah, but I mean, that team had already been riding together for 10 weeks, so understandably it was doing stronger. Okay, just step off at the front, step off at the front.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you're 57 k's an hour. We'll stop pedaling.
Wait. Okay, just Jock is here after, are you at the back, Jock?
Yeah, I'm at the back. Tucked in now.
Okay, yeah, you're aero tucked, but you're off the back, I think.
Yeah, I waited too long and then they flew past me.
Okay, but okay, wait guys, okay, don't pedal now on the uphill. Yeah. Okay, go.
Right, I'm back in.
There you go.
I'm going.
Okay, stop at the front, Willem, wait a bit. That's pumpkin muffin. With the front, you are all in draft. Even Willie is in draft, but you've got like this half draft from having wheel lengths in between each other. So
There we go.
okay, all together. Okay, go. Okay, resume. Engine, all engines. I appreciate that some of the stuff I say might actually make people pedal slowly unnecessary, but I think it's better to have a 1 or 2 second gap closed than nobody's talk and then it's a 10-second gap, because then you have to let that guy go. I mean, you can't wait for a guy to be stopped by 10 seconds. So it's better that we thought, okay, oh, the gap in the middle.
Now I'm just holding the course out behind me.
Okay, somebody can come past Billy, do that. If you can't, then your front four must slow down.
Niks gedaan, hier is by my god.
Go fast, buddy.
Okay, front four, just slow down. Front, yes, but still the front four are burning the back four, and if you burn the back four completely, the front four will not be able to ride hard the rest of the race again. So that's why you must tap off at the front. It's not because the back four can't catch you, but because by the time they catch you, that would have been the last match. So it's always better to tap off sooner. There's never a good time to tap off later if you cause a gap and you're in the front. I mean, I know I've caused gaps in the TTs, but as soon as somebody's told me there's a gap, as soon as there's somebody who's told me that I'm doing it, I immediately stop, because I know that's not what I'm trying to do. I just didn't see it happening.
Tell me, what is this?
So I really don't mind if anybody ever tells me like there's a gap forming behind you, because there's no point in me pedaling if there's nobody. Okay, but slower, guys. If there's nobody, if people can't enjoy my draft, then there's no point in me being in the TT.
Okay, Chris, I'm back on. And I'm in the front.
Right, everybody trooper.
Alright.
Yeah.
Right, front door.
Some big white. Oh, yeah, this.
Okay, guys, because Jock has already said now that he is suffering, never let him be the front wheel. Even if he's in the middle and there's a gap in front of him, as soon as you see that happening, you must go around him. Because he needs that section. There's no shame in anybody saying I'm under pressure. As soon as a person has said that, the one problem is obviously all you see is Koetter Z. You don't, it's hard to see the names, but I see cis, and cis is duplicit. So look for the cis, and that's at the moment one of your markers. Anybody in front of cis must just make sure that there's no +1 or -1 or whatever between them and cis. Because then you basically... Okay, slow down a bit. Okay. Remember this is 2%, okay, guys? This is flat, but it's on the 2%. That's where, like, people at the back are working nearly as hard as the guys in the front. So... wherever it goes -1 and you see everybody's nicely together, go for it. Just sorry, I haven't mentioned that. I always mentioned that in previous weeks elsewhere, is that when you're at the front, if you can put your screen view on the reverse so that you're looking only backwards, then it's nice. Then you're able to easily see if you are stringing it out, but that you can see there's no gaps. It's hard to see, but you can actually sort of, with that rear view on, you can sort of see if there's gaps forming in the people behind you or just behind you, and then you can ride as hard as you can without gaps forming when you're at the front with the rear view on. Then to bring to your attention that there is, I think, 7 kilometers left. Whoever's not feeling good, the pain's going to end in 7 kilometers. So it's not that far. You guys are more than 2/3. You're like 3/4 finished. I don't think anybody must ever feel bad if they do get dropped like in the last kilometer, if it's going to help the team, but I really don't think today is the day to do it, because this is more a training ride. But in future weeks, if somebody does get dropped in the last kilometer because everybody else except them is feeling great to push through for like as good a time as they can, then to last until 1 kilometer from the end is great. So don't feel bad if you do get stopped. But I think today there's going to be no point. It's going to be the best psychological point of view for the team if you just all finish together. So don't drop anybody. I think I would be willing to be dropped if I knew a team was going to like get the best position ever for our team intra-play. But I think if the team is going to do average compared to other weeks, and it's been like a learning week like today, then I'm going to wonder why they run away from me. So just stick together.
Learning experience.
I think what is nice. Okay, there's a little bit of a gap. Who's last wheel? Is that you, Paul? Okay, you're fine. If afterwards, if about 4 of you say it was quite hard, that's probably the right pace. But if any more than 4 say it was hard, then I think it was a bit too hard for the first outcome. So we'll hear afterwards how many of the 8 felt it was really hard. And the people who say it was hard mustn't feel bad if 4 say it wasn't hard, because you don't want to be in a team where everybody says it was hard. Because then who's going to do the work?
Yeah.
So be glad if 4 say it was about as hard as they'd like. And if 4 say, no, I can go a little bit harder, and then with better technique, you can go harder from week to week without dropping the 4 that said it was hard enough, because as the tactics get better, then you can get a better and better time with the same team. Watch it. It is the last hill, therefore you can sort of burn your last match on this hill and you should survive to the finish. But if there's gaps before the top of the hill, you guys are gonna lose time trying to wait for people. So whoever's at the front, just stay in a little huddle until you get to the top. Okay guys, you got to slow down there at the front.
Front goes off. Oh no, he's there.
Hello. Okay, you can go. I think somebody's avatar maybe got stuck. Well, I mean, you're all putting out decent watts there, so somebody's going to pop. Okay, guys, whoever's at the front now, slow down, because you're in a long string and that doesn't work over the top of the hill. Slow down at the front. Slow down at the front. You must be in a little huddle at the top of hills, not a long line. If you got a long line over the top of a hill, then you're not going to be able to drop on the downhill.
I cannot see what's going on in front of me.
But Willem and Fist or Willem and Jock they're attacking nicely. So back in the groove. Right. You okay there, Chris?
We got 9 more tequila, is it okay?
Yeah, no, I'm 95% sure he's okay.
Chill.
So you guys can go. I see 8. Okay, no. Christia, you okay?
I'm okay.
Okay, everybody good?
Okay.
Nice. It's a nice long line, but don't go any harder. When it's a nice long line, don't go harder than that. I'm assuming Chris Knight has it is good to have somebody quite strong and a little bit pressure at the back of the pace line when it's strung out, because then if a gap forms, they can come from the back and close that hole. But obviously, I mean, the freshest guy shouldn't be at the back, but one of the 2 or 3 guys who are still fresh, it's good for them to be right at the back, taking a small break. Because if they do notice a gap forming halfway up the pace line, they can quickly go into that hole. Because it's a lot harder at the front to just like completely come to a standstill and destroy the speed that the group is moving at when you hear there's a gap behind you. But you must do that as well if there is nobody at the back left to close that gap. Okay, I can't see how many kilometers you have left, but it must be like only like a few hundred meters. So
800.
yeah. So don't put a sprint in because you will drop somebody. But you can like sort of all slowly accelerate. There's small gap between Willem and Jock. So just wait a little bit. Yes, but the others don't know that they must wait a bit. A little bit slower in the front. Little bit slower in the front. From the helicopter view, it's a big gap, 4 bike lengths. Willem, you'll have to say when you've got contact there.
Contact. Oh, there we go. Where are they?
Well done, guys. Well done. Wow. Hey guys, and I mean, you can obviously talk on the Discord and the WhatsApp about how you felt about that, but I think that's really one of the best forms of racing on this. That's proper teamwork. Well done, guys.
Yeah, that was lekker.
And it's a different type of workout for each different type of rider. If you're the guy that's doing the surges at the front, so how I would put it is some riders are doing like a VO2 max and then a zone 2, and a VO2 max and a zone 2, and a VO2 max and a zone 2, and then others are doing overs and unders, you know, like just below and just above threshold all the way. So, yeah, it is a workout for everybody, no matter what type of workout it is.
Yeah. No, I must say it was a very nice ride. It was actually quite manageable. So, you know, I thought it was great the way we did it.
Yes, I think in a few weeks when one sees, okay, we've been coming 30th out of 200 or, like 35th out of 200, or we want to push it into the top 20, then there's going to be some pressure to I don't know, like cough up a lung. So, yes. But I think in the first few weeks,